the Mississippi Crop Situation Podcast featuring the Crop Doctors.
Good morning from the Crop Doctors Podcast studio in Starkville. I'll change the introduction a little bit on Jason. We are at the Row Crop Short Course again this morning with some more of our platinum sponsors, and we have the gentleman from Case IH with us this morning. We have Brandon Potts, Drew Fandel, and then over lurking is Matt Dorsey.
So, Brandon, you've been in with us before, so we certainly appreciate the sponsorship of the short course. We hope y'all get a lot of value out of it. I think the numbers upwards of 700 were pre-registered for the meeting, so we are real proud of our folks that put this on, that they continue to do a really, really good job. So we hope y'all get some value out of it, and we certainly value the relationship that we have with Case.
We do, and to be an open book, we're a Maroon level sponsor, not a platinum level, but we are proud.
Oh, yeah, well, we forgot about that. We did add the –
that's right.
We added one this year.
Yeah, we added the level.
We did add the level.
But we are proud to be a sponsor no matter what the level, and thankful to be here. I believe this is our fourth or fifth year, maybe. The first year we were in the Boast when we did the podcast, so however long ago that was.
If it was preceding a COVID year, I don't remember. Some COVID years all ran together. I mean, if we're going to stick to true transparency, 2020 and 2021, forget it. Total blur. I have no idea what went on in those 2 years. Yeah. It's kind of depressing.
I feel like last year when we visited Brandon, we talked a lot about autonomy and things like that. So,
we did, and that was when we discussed a new partner or acquisition of Raven.
Right,
that's right.
That's what I was trying to. I couldn't remember the name of that, but yeah, I remember it was wrapped up around sprayers and stuff, and that was Raven. Okay, well, good. So what's going on for Case and latter part of 23 into 24?
Right now, we're just kind of getting back. To be honest, kind of getting back into a normal production with our equipment being produced. Since COVID, you hate to even mention COVID anymore, but everything went into a constraint with COVID and production constraints. And it seems like this year we're kind of somewhat getting back to a little bit of normalcy, whatever, even if this is the new normal. But we've got some new products coming out this year and next year over the next several years. And everything is beginning to be more and more technology with, AccuSync and AccuControl.
Soil Command.
Soil Command, yeah. Soil Command's being a new one that's starting to take off more, allowing to implement, just having more control of, especially with tillage product.
Yeah, I think, our one product that's easier to describe the Soil Command with is our 875, which is our, subsoil disc. So it has a disc in front and then subsoil, and then it finishes out in the back. So when you're in the cab, you can go and change how deep you want your subsoilers, how deep you want your discs in the front, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to set up, and you can change it on the go. You can do a prescription if you have certain spots that you want to go 12 inches deep, and then you got maybe a drainage spot where you want to keep the compaction and you want to lift those shanks up. You can do that. You can run a prescription through the software, and it also what it does is it keeps the machine level the entire time. So when you go and make an adjustment through the computer, instead of having to go out of the cab, go change the depth, and then drive a little bit, realize, well, it's not level anymore, so let me go change it again, and you're just constantly having to fiddle with it. Now you're just one button in the cab and just keep on rolling.
So who builds those prescription maps? Y'all build those prescription maps for the farmer, or is that based on something else?
Well, it depends. I mean, they can go through their agronomist or somebody, depending on what they're trying to look for. If they're trying to look for different soil types, then we can work with them on building one for the farmer.
And it's simple enough. I mean, they can build their own map if they wanted to do it on their own.
Yeah, I mean, the fascinating thing is we all know as much as the soils change across some fields, given wherever you are in the state of Mississippi. I mean, Jason and I being in the Delta, most of those fields over there have tremendous amount of change in the soil texture and soil type across those farms. So that's pretty interesting to see that technology is moving in that direction so rapidly.
Yeah, those fields look really consistent, and most of them, there's some variability to it. Even though it looks nice, level, and flat, and wide open, there's a lot of changing going on.
And you mentioned autonomy earlier. We're still not at a position where we're full autonomy, and I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if we ever will. I don't know that's just a hard concept because you've got so many different. You got light poles, you have ditches, you've got well heads,
You have balloons flying through the field.
Yeah, I mean, you got
just
so
a
many
trash
different
bag,
things.
just anything.
But as the technology develops and we're getting more and more geared, every little thing that we do with Soil Command, with AccuSync, with AccuTurn, it's all getting another step closer to a fully autonomy product.
Even under the current platforms, what kind of information is the machine capturing as it goes through the field that could be put to use down the road, whether it's building a better map, a more thorough map, or something else?
So like a field cultivator with Soil Command, what it's doing is it's reading all of those shanks, and it's keeping the seedbed floor level, but it's also reading it, and then you can take that information that it's given to you, and come planting season, it knows where any little ridge is or anything, so it knows how much down pressure that it needs to put on our gauge wheels or whatever, just to make sure that all of our seeds are at the same level, so that way you're having the same emergence, everything's coming up at the same time, just to increase yields.
And it goes back, even from getting the seed in the ground to harvesting it. With Harvest Command now in our axial flow combines, it takes that information of what it's learning, what the combine is learning as it's going through the harvest process of different machine parameters that it changes, whether it's airflow, sieves opening and closing, rotor speed, concave clearance. But it's learning is what it learned to perfect it's that particular job at that time. It knows what it needs to do next time, so to speak. So it's taking that information that's running through the machine and being able to apply it as it moves through the field.
Well, and the layering of all that information on top of each other between running soil implements through the field and then planting and then spraying from there in the standpoint and then harvest, and having all that information intermeshed and working together is pretty beneficial.
Yep, and all that information is, whether you're planting, spraying, application, harvesting, all that information from our units are going, and similar to other manufacturers, but it's going into one cloud, so to speak, with AFS Connect, and all that information is being brought in where you can make up your maps and start working with your prescriptions and things of being able to send out guidance information to other equipment. So being able to sit in your pickup truck in Florida on the beach, monitoring your fleet, and then making changes, sending different information to different pieces of equipment while you're watching your kids play on the beach, kind of managing your operation as you're on vacation, so to speak, if you call that a vacation.
Yeah, or like, you're doing kind of your end of the year review. You're looking at, hey, and this field's not doing as good as this field. Let's look at the differences of it. Okay, well, in this field, maybe the gauge wheel down pressure was at 50, and this field it was 75. Well, this field did better at 50, so next year I need to make sure that my down pressure on my gauge wheels is this, or hey, maybe it's something with tillage that we did different. Just tracking all of that in one spot, so that way, as you're making your plans for the next season, you know what you need to change to improve your yields for the next year. I think that's just the biggest thing.
What service does Case offer to help a grower unpack all that information? Because the first time they use it, it's not going to be in they're not going to be able to just click through it and understand everything.
So we got teams, boots on the ground, so to speak. 75% of the workforce with Case IH is in the field, not based out of Racine or other different sites, whether it's Fargo, North Dakota, so forth. But most of us, just like in this area here, we have a team of 40 members that are within Florida to New Mexico up to Indiana, 40 people that work for Case IH that are either, product representatives, product specialists, capital, financing, and then just, kind of management of a territory. So we're boots on the ground to be able to go and assist the dealer and then therefore help the customer as well. We want to make sure that we have a solid dealer network, and that's where the majority of it, if not all of it, comes from is our dealer network. So we make sure to work with our dealers, and then the dealers can therefore work with the customers to get them, to be able to utilize that information.
So one thing I'd like to mention is just the fact that, our planters come from the factory with precision planting parts, and I think that's one thing that really sets us apart from the rest of the competition, as well as the agronomic design of our planter. It's been tried and tested over, I don't know how many years that design has been around, but it's been around a long time. And just getting those seeds up at a uniform time and at a uniform depth is something that I believe Case has perfected. And it's nice getting feedback from the customers, having worked on a farm using Case planters myself, to moving into this role where, I get to go around and tell people how awesome our planter is. It's kind of cool seeing both sides of it. I had somebody tell me proof that our planter does what we say it does was they said, when we go and try to find a seed behind your planter, it's the hardest seed to find. And at first you kind of take it as was that a bad thing? And he was like, no, it's a really good thing. I mean, that's how we know that, there's no compaction around the seed. So you're not following that compact V to go find where the seed is at the bottom. It's all uniform, and you're just having to dig that loose soil that's perfectly around the seed to find it. And it's just kind of awesome to hear feedback from other farmers about our product. It's nice.
Yeah, and on top of that, Drew mentioned earlier, or Matt did. We're both alumni. I graduated in 2000 from Mississippi State, and Drew, he's just a baby pup. I don't know when you graduated. What was it, 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
But also, I nailed that right. Yeah. That was a wild guess. But we, being a product of Mississippi State and being here, still living in the state, and working for the company Case IH, we've got this opportunity, and it's a blessing, to be honest, and it's humbling. But we're able to work more with Mississippi State, and that's what we're trying to do. As we've done in the past, we've worked with Dr. Lowe, Wes Lowe, and we're doing that again this year. We've got a new project coming out that he's doing some planter validation for us with a high-speed planter in soybeans and corn, and we're doing that throughout the state from the lower portion of the Delta, mid portion, then the upper portion in Tunica. But we've got plans, but just working with him, allowing him to validate and test our product, and just to be able to get us good data, so that we can carry that back and say, okay, here's how your product worked in the state of Mississippi, with our Mississippi soils, with our Mississippi customers, and not just kind of focus on the Midwest. So we're able to, a high-profile company such as Case IH, and be able to work with Mississippi State University, my home college. It's humbling to be able to do that and be a part of that. So we're thankful to be here this week with the row crop short course. Thankful to be a sponsor, and just really glad to be here and be a part, and hoping that more and more opportunities will come along, that we get to work with Wes and other people, especially with the Autonomy Institute that just got started this year. We're looking forward to being part of that and working and having some different projects going on with them.
Well, and as you add more precision to agriculture, it's beneficial for us on the university side to be able to work with y'all, see how those things connect and work on farms in the state. And then it's beneficial to have y'all that have gone to school here. Yeah. I think having that regional perspective is definitely helpful.
Yep. Anybody can make a tractor go through the field from point A to point B, but now it's the technology that can be involved in it, and what you do with that technology and how you use it, because it's all about trying to be more efficient. And so that's going to be the name of the game, and we're just glad to be here.
Yeah,
it's always exciting to hear about new stuff that Case has to offer. And again, we sincerely appreciate the sponsorship. And what else?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do this meeting without y'all, and we really appreciate it. I think sometimes we probably don't say that enough.
Oh, we're just glad we can be here, and like Brandon said, we're just glad we can kind of give back and work with our university that we love and we graduated from, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier in our sponsor update, we're going to school here, leaving home in DeSoto County and coming here to Starkville, that dreaded drive down 55 and 82, having to go back to school. But at that time, never thinking that, 20 years later, I'd be here doing what we're doing now today. So leaving home Sunday, headed down here, it was, being able to reflect on that was pretty neat. So knowing that what we're coming down here to do, so it's pretty neat.
Thank y'all.
The Mississippi Crop Situation Podcast is a production of Mississippi State University Extension.